Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salamu ala Rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa man wala. And welcome to Community Update number 18. And we have, as usual, a number of announcements and community housekeeping. And then we have our dive into the people of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the companions of the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So let's begin first with our dua. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم أعوذ بكلمات الله التامات من شر ما خلق أعوذ بكلمات الله التامات من شر ما خلق أعوذ بكلمات الله التامات من شر ما خلق بسم الله الذي لا يضر مع اسمه شيء في الأرض ولا في السماء وهو السميع العليم بسم الله الذي لا يضر مع اسمه شيء في الأرض ولا في السماء وهو السميع العليم بسم الله الذي لا يضر مع اسمه شيء في الأرض ولا في السماء وهو السميع العليم تحصنت بذي العزة واعتصمت برب الملكوت وتوكلت على الحي الذي لا يموت اللهم اصرف عنا الوباء بلطفك يا لطيف إنك على كل شيء قدير تحصنت بذي العزة واعتصمت برب الملكوت وتوكلت على الحي الذي لا يموت اللهم اصرف عنا الوباء بلطفك يا لطيف إنك على كل شيء قدير تحصنت بذي العزة واعتصمت برب الملكوت وتوكلت على الحي الذي لا يموت اللهم اصرف عنا الوباء بلطفك يا لطيف إنك على كل شيء قدير وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم الحمد لله رب العالمين. All right, let's begin with some first thing first, our corona announcements. And this actually happened some while back, but we never announced it. Is that yet another law or policy has been put in place that happens to coincide obviously with the wisdom of the Sharia, because the more human beings live and recognize things, the more they realize that certain things in the Sharia turn out to be true. And Allah Ta'ala gave us a shortcut to it and gave us these things without us having to go through hardships and whatnot. And now it was in China, a ban was made on wild animals, certain foods that were eaten that they're admitting is the cause of the coronavirus. Now, I was one of the first people who mentioned that you have to be very sensitive about how you talk about this, because we may think that the Chinese are so far away from us, but we have Chinese Muslims amongst us. I mean, we have 2 Chinese converts in MBIC, so be very careful of generalizing over people, because you can generalize as long as you don't know anyone. As soon as you know someone, all of a sudden that generalization you realize how dangerous it is. So generalizing about the Chinese. And now here's the funny thing. You want to generalize about the Chinese and people take this in the wrong way and say, oh, look at these people and put them down. We were just fighting for the Uyghurs. What do you think they are? They're also Chinese Muslims, right? That's their description. They're Chinese Muslims. So so this shouldn't be something that's generalized about the Chinese in general, but this one specific practice that they had is the cause of this virus, and they're admitting it. So eating of bats, dogs, whatever else is something that's not normally eaten, and they have their whole list, has been prohibited. All right, officially in China, and we do have prohibitions on these things, and at the most lenient of the fiqhs of the madhahib have them as discouraged. Okay, that dogs, for example, that's when there's a dire need to eat and you have no other food, then it'll be discouraged to go into it. But in the other madhahib, completely haram. All right, bats are considered vermin and they're prohibited along with rats because they're dirty, and it's all about what they eat. It's not about them being dirty, physically dirty. It's about, the mules and donkeys or goats and sheep can also be physically dirty. Okay, but it's about what they eat, and what they eat, and you eat them, then all of a sudden you're going to get that. And their bodies can handle certain viruses and certain microbes that our bodies can't. So there's so many things of Sharia lately that have been coming in and being implemented. Like the Me Too movement has caused a lot of gender relations, all right, policies to be made, and we're looking like, wow, we were like way ahead of the curve here. All right, we've had no khalwa rules forever, right? That a man and woman cannot be alone in a place without a third party. All right, we've had that rule forever. We have a very strict rule that children shouldn't be touched, of the opposite gender shouldn't be touched. I know for sure that in the Maliki fiqh, it's age of 2. After 2 years old, a man can't touch a girl, right? And you're like, wow, she's only 7 years old. No, Malik has it. He made it at the age of 2. Imagine that. Some others said at the time that she would become like, a desire. There will be desire, but that's subjective, right? So that leaves a door open to subjectivity. We had other ahkam coming with this coronavirus. The type of washing, constant, 5 times a day, 4 times a day, 3 times a day. Washing yourselves and washing hands, feet, covering hair, all these types of things. Not wearing shoes in the house. You see all of these rulings and you're like, wow, it looks like we've been ahead of the curve. But guess what? What about all the rulings that we don't know the wisdom to? Right? That maybe 5-10 years down the road, other ahkam, other rulings will also be promoted as being beneficial to people. So instead of us having to be burned and then learning some Sharia rule, making some policy and realizing the wisdom of the Sharia, then why don't we just do it now? Right? Since we know that the source of these ahkam is the wise. So that's our little Corona update for today. And there wasn't really much going on. And honestly, I mean, how much Corona news can you watch? 3, 4 days, 5 days, 18 days, enough already with the Corona news. Now, what else are you going to do? You need to take a break. So today I didn't really watch much Corona news except a source gave me this news about this ban on wild animals. A couple other announcements. We finally, alhamdulillah, MBIC has now a Zoom classroom. And here it is. I got my Zoom meeting number, but I'm not going to give it out here. We're going to, through the email and through whatever channels of MBIC communication, the links will be put out for each time that we have a meeting. And then you'll be able to punch in the number. It's not really just smart to just give out the number, but rather for community members who are involved, anyone who wants to be involved, the information and the classroom, the meetings will be out there. There will be office hours. All right, Qari will have office hours. Sami Katovic will have office hours. I will have office hours. There will be Quran read. Okay, there will be Awrad read. There will be, inshallah, our first thing will be tomorrow, inshallah. First meeting will be tomorrow. Tomorrow at 1 p.m. We're going to have Qari Zahid, inshallah ta'ala, will recite for us Surah Al-Kahf, Qari Zahid or Qari Basit. And then I'll give a small commentary on, this is not a Jum'ah. It's not a virtual Jum'ah. I told you I'm not into something that's in the middle like this. But it's just going to be like a short talk. It's not a Jum'ah. And yesterday, if anyone was confused, if we weren't clear, in our Ramadan Zoom programming, we may have Qari Basit lead the Salah just as an encouragement that you could see he's praying. But we won't pray behind him because there is no virtual Jama'ah. So that's our other housekeeping. Third item of housekeeping. There is a website called Project Maruf. All right. Maybe I should just type it in, the name of these folks. Your projectmaruf.com. And he's a friend of mine. I guess he's a friend of mine. We talk a lot, but I've never seen him. And come to think of it, I don't even think I know his name, right? Which I've been going off on anonymous accounts. And one of the problems with the internet is that there are these anonymous accounts, right? And I call it the Anon Apocalypse. That's what it is. It's the Anon Apocalypse. Anonymous people going and causing trouble on the internet. And but this guy, his work is legitimate. We email each other. I need to actually get to find out who he is. But his work is legit. Now, why am I mentioning him here? I'm mentioning him here because you can watch live streams like 24/7 these days. Everyone's streaming, right? Everyone is streaming. You want to watch Sheikh Hamza Maqbool, you can watch Hamza Maqbool. You want to watch Sheikh Walid Mossad, you can watch Sheikh Walid Mossad. You want to watch whoever you want to watch, they're out there. His website is called Project Maruf. You want to listen to Sheikh Yahya, you can listen 5 o'clock every day to Sheikh Yahya Rodas. Okay, so you could literally be watching 5 a.m. You want to listen to Life of the Seerah of the Prophet 5 a.m. Okay, because they're in England doing stuff. There are people in Australia doing stuff. So literally 24 hours a day. In Medina al-Munawwara, Hasib Noor will be talking. So that's 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Literally constantly. We have us after Maghrib, MBIC community updates. Although he's got us all the way at the bottom of the website. I got to talk to him about this one. He's got us way at the bottom of the website. What is that all about? All right, that's got to change. Maybe he's got us in the middle of the website. All right, you got to put us at the top. All right, so that's Project Maruf, who is a very beautiful website. You can go to it, podcast, blog. You can listen to stuff 24 hours a day. All right, alhamdulillah, we use technology. Put it to good use. Next announcements. Okay. All right, next announcement. This book right here. Wow, take a look at this beauty. Gold leaf pages. Okay. And this is my friend Tariq al-Masidi. I don't know what he wants to do. Is he starting a competition? Because I'm going to have to up my book game myself. All right. We're going to have to up our book game after he's produced this book, Gold Leaf, at the binding. And then he's mimicked the inside of, if you ever look at what's called hawashi. Hawashi is those ancient Islamic books with the text and the commentary all around the side. He's mimicked that. And he's got glossy pages. Just take a look at this, at how beautiful this book is. He's going to start a little competition with me here. I wanted to say war, but it's not going to be a war. It's going to be a competition. It's a gorgeous book, and it is the Shama'il of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Now I have an idea for you. Okay, I have an idea. We can finish this book. I mean, people and families. This is how many hadiths? About 400 entries, and each hadith is it's 400 entries. Each hadith is literally 2 sentences. All right, the maximum maybe half a page. And every family in our community can read this, okay? And half of the page is the chain of transmission anyway, right? And the Arabic. So it's very short. We can spend all of Ramadan and Corona reading this book and finishing in this book. And now guess what? He's been very nice. He's been nice enough, okay? Tariq al-Masidi, to give you, MBIC community, if you're watching this update, if you go to his website right now tonight at celebratemercy.com or .org, right? You can figure out one of those. Celebratemercy.org, I guess. You can go and type in my name and then the number 5, right? SHADEE and the number 5, and you can get this book at a discount. It'll give you a discount to buy this book. I feel like it's like the Home Shopping Network or something, right? You ever watch TV back in the day at 2 in the morning? You're like, what am I doing watching TV at 2 in the morning? And he's trying to sell you knives for 3 payments of $59.99, right? That's what I feel like right now. But this is actually an amazing book. That one of the reasons I want to have this book is I just like to look at it, right? I just like to see it on my shelf. It's such a pretty book. They did such a great job. And we will be, for sure, bi'idhnillah ta'ala, reading this book, at least in our family, a couple hadiths a day. All right, so that's our housekeeping for the day, and maybe the team, and if anyone is here, please put all the information here, all right, that we've been talking about, projectmaruf.com. Put the website. What's the website where people could buy the book? Celebratemercy.org. Please put that in the comments section as well, so that everyone can take that and benefit. All right, that's all of our housekeeping today. And if you have any questions, plug them in, and we'll get to that afterwards. And now we take our deep dive into the ocean, the sweet waters of the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And today we talk about a companion, a beloved, one of the first 7 Muslims that entered into Islam, and the man of great stamina. His attribute of this man, he was so big, so thick, right? Do you ever see a man that's just so thick? His body is thick. Everything about him is thick, okay? And he has an immense stamina and ability to handle pain, a threshold of pain that's really just unbelievable. And his name is Khabab ibn al-Aratt. That's his name. His name is Khabab ibn al-Aratt. He was a thick man, full of stamina. And he had a threshold of pain that was really considered number 1 amongst the Sahaba. And what is the meaning of threshold of pain? It means he could receive pain in his body Okay? He could receive so much pain without complaining, right? For a lot of people, they get a little bit of a poke and they're crying, right? Some people can handle a lot more pain, all right? And it's funny that men, there was a joke I saw the other day. It said, men gets a heart attack and you visit him in the hospital, it's nothing. But he gets a cold, he gathers a family around him, and this is it. Now I'm going to die. Get the blankets, all right? So different people can handle different types of pain, all right? So Khabab ibn al-Aratt was a sword maker. His job was that he was a sword maker. He used to make swords, all right? He was a blacksmith. He used to work with metal and make objects. He used to make chains, shields, swords, axes, all sorts of metal work. That was his job. Now, he was a poor man, and he was like an indentured servant to a woman named Ammar. That's who he worked for. Now, he became Muslim, and Ammar would have none of it. Ammar was furious with Khabab, all right? She was furious, and she would march in to his store, because it was really her store. He would work for her. And she would take the branding irons. She'd take the irons, take anything hot, take it out of the stove, and then she would start burning him with it. All right? Her men of her family would pull him out, throw him on the desert, and push a hot piece of metal on top of his back until the heat heated up the metal and burned his back. All right? He was one of those who was so big that they would just torture him and torture him and torture him. Right? And especially that he was actually tortured on his head. He was someone who was branded on his head. The Ammar took the branding iron and branded his head with it. Now, there's another very important thing that happened with him, between him and the Prophet ﷺ, that we learned from. Okay, he came in one time after being tortured. He was tired. He was talking with the Sahaba, and they said, "Let's go to the Messenger of Allah ﷺ." He comes to the Prophet at the Haram, at the Kaaba, and he said, "Oh Messenger of Allah, please pray for Allah, pray for us that Allah relieve us of all this hardship." And the Prophet ﷺ, who never gets angry, got angry. And the Prophet ﷺ hardly gets angry, especially from the Sahaba, especially these Sahaba who were suffering but he got angry at this time. And he said, the people of the past used to be taken and sawed with a saw, all right, from the top of his forehead down between his legs. And the others would sit there watching, and they would never complain. And none of them would slough off their deen or trade in their religion. Another one, a rake would be put into hot boiling oil, put in the person's back, and pull the skin down. And still, none of them would trade in their religion, knowing that that's how they would be tortured. Okay? And he said, and us, we haven't had any of this. And Allah Ta'ala will give us great victories, but you have no patience. Okay? So what was the Prophet ﷺ saying here? He was issuing a mindset and a mentality. No complaining. Do not complain. This was the mentality of the Sahaba. This is not something that you're born with. It's something that you believe in. Whatever situation you're in, someone is in a worse situation. It could be worse, right? Your situation could be worse. And Shuraih al-Qadi was an amazing man. Shuraih al-Qadi had such a beautiful... Shuraih al-Qadi was in the time of Sayyidina Ali bin Abi Talib. And he was a tabi'i. He was not a sahabi. He was a tabi'i. Shuraih was such an amazing man, a wise man, that Sayyidina Ali made him the chief judge. He was the judge of all judges. Now, one time, a Jewish man came in and Sayyidina walked by, and Sayyidina Ali noticed that the Jewish man has his shield. He has Sayyidina Ali's shield. So he said, "Hey, that's my shield. Give it back." The Jewish man said, "I found it, right? What's the proof that it's yours? I just found it laying there." He said, "It's mine. I have witnesses." He said, "Take me to court. I'm not just going to give it up like this." And in business, going to court is the way things are done. You don't just give stuff away, right? So this man is he's in his rights. I'm not just going to give away my shield just because you said it's yours. Prove it. Go to court. And as Ibn Khaldun said, I don't know if I said it here or somewhere else, but Ibn Khaldun said the best people who will succeed in the world of trade and the merchants are those who are the best at court, best at going to court, all right, and using the judge and making sure their opponent can bring a proof before they take money from them. So Sayyidina Ali said, okay. They went to the court. Now the first judge came in and the Jewish man sat down with the shield. Sayyidina Ali came and sat down across from him, and the judge said, Abul Hassan, Ya Abul Hassan, come sit over here. Oh, father of Hassan, Sayyidina Ali, come sit next to me. You're the Amir, you're the Khalifa, you're a Sahabi, you're the great Ali bin Abi Talib. Come sit next to me. Sayyidina Ali said, the Jewish man said, what kind of court is this where the judge is being friendly with one of the two parties? And Sayyidina Ali said, you're right. So this judge has been removed. You can't be a judge and be friendly towards one of the two parties. When you're a judge, you have to put both parties on equal footing, and you can't be nice to either one of them, and you can't have relationships with either one of them either. So he then goes to Shuraih al-Qadi, the famous judge, Shuraih. So Shuraih sits, and he has Sayyidina Ali on one side, and he has the Jewish man on the other side. And say the plaintiff, you have a plaintiff and a defendant. Sayyidina Ali is the plaintiff, the Jewish man is the defendant. He's defending himself. And the plaintiff is the one complaining. So he said, Shuraih said, Oh Ali, speak. He didn't call him Amir al-Mu'mineen, he didn't call him Abul Hassan, he didn't call him Sayyidina Ali. He just said Ali. Why? Because this is court. Everyone's equal in the court. Okay? So he said, speak. So he says, this man stole my shield. It's my shield. So Shuraih said, now, Sayyidina Ali, you know he's not a liar. The Quran itself has upheld the honesty of the Sahaba in many verses, that the Sahaba are trustworthy. That's why in hadith scholarship, you don't have to check on Sahaba. If a Sahabi speaks, you believe it right away. So he said to Ali, Sayyidina Ali, bring your evidence. What's your evidence? He says, I have two witnesses. He said, bring the witnesses. He called his two sons, Hassan and Hussein. What did Shuraih say? Shuraih said, relatives are not allowed to testify for you. You can't bring your sons to testify for you in court because that's a conflict. Why? Because they're your family. Of course they're going to say something good for you, right? So he said, bring someone else. He said, these are the only two people I have. He said, then you haven't brought any evidence. The shield goes to the Jew. Case closed. Court dismissed. Okay? And the Jewish man was shocked. He was looking and he's like, this is it? He's like, that's it. He's like, and at this time, Sayyidina Ali was the Khalifa of the Muslims. And he said, I get to walk away with the shield? He said, walk away with the shield. It's yours. There's no evidence. Sayyidina Ali didn't provide evidence. And the Sayyidina Ali said, yes, the shield is yours. I didn't provide the evidence, so goodbye. The Jewish man, he walked away a little bit. He came back and he took Shahada. He said, I've never seen justice like this amongst any other people. So what you must be on must be the truth. Now, Shuraih al-Qadi, all that was a little introduction to Shuraih al-Qadi. Shuraih al-Qadi said, whenever I'm afflicted, I give thanks to Allah for four things. Okay? And this is to displace complaints. Okay? All of us, if we want to have a mindset of a mu'min, not only a mindset of a mu'min, a mindset of a winner. All right? You displace complaints with gratitude. Look at what he said here. The first thing, I give gratitude. I thank Allah because the calamity could have been worse. Right? So that's the first thing that Shuraih al-Qadi thinks about. Hey, I got this situation. Hey, it could have been worse. Right? So don't complain. Number two, I'm thankful that Allah Ta'ala gave me sabr. Just the fact that I thought about it could have been worse, that's another reason I should be thankful. So number two is that Allah gave me patience, sabr. Number three, that Allah Ta'ala allows me to think about hope. Because anytime you're in a bad situation, you have to have hope. When you're in a good situation, you don't think about hope. You're enjoying your situation, right? But if you're in a bad situation, you think about hope. All right, you have to have hope. And hope is one of the best things inside the heart of a mu'min. And hope is something that Allah Ta'ala loves to have in your heart. If you ever get yourself in a situation where I don't want to get my hopes up, right? At that point, you're sort of almost not trusting in Allah. You're almost saying that I don't really trust that Allah is capable, right? We should be people who have hope, a lot of hope, and not never have a mentality of giving up or being lazy or not trusting that Allah is capable, all right? Number 4, he said, I thank Allah Ta'ala that my calamity is not a calamity in religion, that it's a calamity of the dunya, not a calamity in religion. So again, these 4 are: number 1, it could have been worse. Number 2, Allah gave me patience. Number 3, it's an opportunity to have hope. And number 4, that it's not a calamity in religion. Okay, so in my deen. So you have a calamity in your deen, like you got addicted to marijuana, or you got into drugs, or whatever, you committed some sin, or you're having some shakiness in your iman, or you're having difficulty wearing hijab, or you're having difficulty getting up for Fajr, or you broke your fasts because you didn't have enough discipline, right? So now you owe kafara for a Ramadan fast. That's a big musibah. So he says, I have gratitude that my calamity is not in my deen. So those are the things that displace complaining. The Prophet created this environment of no complaining. And I remember going to, and it's also, it's a family ethic. Say alhamdulillah. This is something that should be in every family, right? Are you complaining? Hold up. Why are you complaining? Think about these 4 things. It could be worse. It could be in your deen. Where's your sabr? Where's your hope? Right? So after the Prophet ﷺ established in the Sahaba this mindset of no complaining. I don't want to hear a single complaint. He never said those words. The Prophet doesn't speak like that. But that's the sense. Don't complain. Afterwards, he then said to them, you will one day rule the earth. You're going to rule the earth. Okay? But just have patience. Okay? It's going to happen. Just be patient. And Ibn Ata'illah, he says a beautiful thing. He said, when you look at a beautiful tree, okay, and everyone benefits from the tree, there are at any given time 3,000 organisms benefiting from a single tree. Like worms, bugs, things inside the tree, birds, okay? All sorts of flies and insects and human beings benefiting from a tree, okay? And fruits, and it's beautiful, all that stuff. But that every single tree was at one point a seed that was dug deep into the earth, and that all that seed saw for day in and day out, for weeks and months, and maybe more than that, was darkness. Cold darkness, all right? Every single seed has to experience that before it becomes a tree. All right, so that's the mentality that a person has to have. Afterwards, then he reassured them and he told them to have sabr. And I remember when I studied in Fez, and Tariq Masidi's on this stream, he's here. He was on this trip too, and he might remember this story, okay? In this story, okay, in this trip that we took to Morocco, we were all a bunch of very fluffy kids. And the way I grew up was fluffy, right? Alhamdulillah, we were well off, and it was very fluffy. And Tariq was probably even more fluffy than me, okay? Because at least the whole New York vibe, that had some aggression in the general sphere of the area. He was from Knoxville, Tennessee, where the pace of life is like this, okay? So we were all very fluffy kids, and a lot of people, when we got to Morocco, we were put into the economy. It was like less than economy. It was a very pretty dorm room, but it wasn't a modern dorm room. It was an old school that hadn't been in use for 300 years, probably, right? And there were holes in it. There were more cockroaches than people, okay? There was no hot water. The toilets were those hole-in-the-ground toilets. And this is 1998, okay? So we got there and we're like, are you serious? It's very beautiful. The tile work is amazing, but is this the accommodation that we're going to stay in? Right? This is what we're actually going to stay in. You stayed in a room. There were no windows. The air was so stuffy. Okay. There's no air condition. And this is the middle of August. right? No air conditioning. We're literally dying. And there's cockroaches everywhere. And there's no hot showers. And there's no toilets. And all of this really came all at once on these fluffy people. Okay? And we had to get unfluffy real fast. And it became a mindset of, you came all the way here. You got a couple options. You can whine and complain the whole time, or you could just get used to things. Okay? Now, on the third day, and I'm sure he remembers this, on the first day, second day, third day, people were dropping like flies. People were whining and complaining about the accommodations, about the temperature, about the showers, about everything. And some people picked up themselves up and left without saying anything. They just took a taxi cab and arranged their flight and went back to America, right? And on that fourth day, it really looked like the whole program was collapsing, falling apart. This was the Rihla of 1998 in Fez, Morocco. And it really appeared that this whole program is collapsing. Everyone's just miserable. And then Sheikh Hamza came down, and one of the things I used to love about him, he had a temper, okay? And he laid down the law. And that very small portions of that talk is on YouTube now. It's called Be Great People. You can watch this. You can watch that talk after this. Okay. They took out a lot. When you watch that talk, every time that they pan out and they cut away to the audience, that's a clip. They took something out at that point. Cut away to the audience, and they fill in the clip, the cutout, by cutting away to the audience. Okay. And he laid into us. Okay. He said this program is called an intensive. This is not tourism. And he just said, from here on in, no complaining. They cut all that stuff out of the talk, but I remember it very well. And Tarek remembers it. Okay. He laid into us so badly. He said, you're all so soft. Stop complaining. And this is nothing. Fez is a city of luxury in comparison to the rest of the country and the rest of Africa, which is true, right? And he went on and on and on. And from that time on, he turned the whole program around. He really turned the program around. From that time on, there was not a single complaint. The spirit of the program was amazing. Everyone was working. Everyone was studious. Everyone was benefiting. Nobody was whining. There was no tourism attitude, no expectation, no attitude of expectation at all. No attitude of complaining. And everyone wanted to be tough at that point, right? So this is what a leader does. A leader, if you're not tough, he makes you tough. He doesn't just try to accommodate you all the time. There was a scene in a movie about Nelson Mandela where he was in jail. He comes out of jail, and the people were angry, and they wanted him to start that, fiery, revolutionary, violent attack on the whites again. And he said, no, what we have to do is, this is the time to make a deal with them, right? And to start living peacefully again. And people said, the people don't like it, right? Someone said this to him. The people don't like this. They want this, the aggressive style. And they're not going to buy it. All right. Mandela said, we're going to make them like it because we're their leaders. Right. We're going to teach them that this is what you have to do. We're not just going to accommodate them. We're going to lead them. So that's what he did. And that's here what the Prophet ﷺ did. He adjusted the mindset of the people. Khabab ibn al-Aratt comes into the seerah in the Quran too, in another situation that was very important and is very important for us too. And this situation, Khabab, Suhaib al-Rumi, Bilal al-Habashi, were all sitting together with the Prophet ﷺ. Then the Prophet sent an invitation to some of the elites of Quraysh. This was still when they were on speaking terms, and he was trying to invite them. So they sent him a message. They said, we would love to sit with you, Muhammad. However, we will not sit with those people. So make a day for us and make a day for them. Sit with them one day, fine. Preach to them all you want. But make a day that's just for us. We don't want to sit with them. Okay? Now you can imagine today, imagine you had like a governor, a mayor, or something like that. And there are some people in the masjid that cannot sit with the governor or mayor. They'll destroy the conversation, right? We know that for as a fact. They won't know how to sit with those types of people. Okay? Now imagine the governor comes and say, I'll visit your mosque, but let those people leave. I don't want to see them. I don't want to talk to them. I don't want to shake their hands. Right? It's not acceptable. So, Quran was revealed. وَاصْبِرْ نَفْسَكَ مَعَ الَّذِينَ يَدْعُونَ رَبَّهُمْ بِالْغَدَاةِ وَالْعَشِيِّ يُرِيدُونَ وَجْهَهُ. Surah Al-Kahf. So, the Prophet didn't answer them, and he awaited revelation, and this is the revelation that came. Stay steadfast and never turn away from these people who seek Allah Ta'ala morning and evening. All right? These are the pious people that Allah Himself has commanded the Prophet to never turn away from them. So the next day, the Quraysh are waiting for his answer. He laid out his own cloth in front of the Kaaba, and he said, welcome to those whom Allah has counseled me to keep their company. Right? And that amongst them was Khabab, Suhaib, and Bilal. Now, mind you, this note came to the Prophet. A man delivered this message to the Prophet ﷺ. Khabab, Suhaib, Bilal, and some others were there. They heard it. The Prophet didn't answer. They spent the night wondering, are we going to be kicked out? Right? What's going to be our state? Right? And then the revelation came down. Not only keep their company, never turn away from them. And so the Prophet ﷺ treated them very well from that time on. Khabab ibn al-Aratt has yet another incident in the seerah that we all know. It was he who was the teacher teaching the Quran to Fatima bint al-Khattab, Umar's sister, Sayyidina Umar's sister, when Sayyidina Umar came in, banged on the door, slammed down the door, banged down the door, and saw the Quran being recited and slapped his sister until she bled from her cheek. Khabab was the teacher of the Quran at that time. He was in the house with Fatima and her husband, and when they saw and heard the rage of Sayyidina Umar, they knew, we can't handle him. His sister maybe can handle him, but we can't handle him. So they went into the other side of the house, closed the door on them, and then Sayyidina Umar and Fatima bint al-Khattab, they had that exchange by themselves. So again, it was Khabab who was there. He was in the house at that time. After Sayyidina Umar calmed down and they heard his voice calm down and they heard him reading the Quran and saying good things about it, then they both came out of the door, right, from the back of the house, and they guided him. They took him to Darul Arqam. Darul Arqam, if you ever make Hajj and Umrah, there's a Safa wal Marwa. Darul Arqam is around a Safa mountain. All right, that's where Darul Arqam was, and that's where the Prophet used to teach the people. So they took them from Fatima bint al-Khattab's house to Darul Arqam, and it was Khabab ibn al-Aratt who was the one teaching Fatima the Quran, and it was him who took Umar to Darul Arqam. So that was another thing that he was part of. Now, his time in Medina and afterwards, he never governed. Okay, he did govern, but he was mainly a teacher of the Quran. He used to teach Quran. All right, and even the great Ibn Mas'ud. Ibn Mas'ud is such a great teacher of the Quran that the Prophet ﷺ said, whoever wants to hear the Quran as it was revealed to me exactly, then go listen to the recitation of Abdullah bin Mas'ud. So Abdullah bin Mas'ud is considered that there's a debate of who is the most knowledgeable companion. And the debate always ends up between Abdullah bin Mas'ud and Ali bin Abi Talib. Okay? And a lot of people, some people said Abdullah bin Mas'ud was more knowledgeable, and some people say Ali bin Abi Talib was more knowledgeable. Right? So Abdullah bin Mas'ud, when he had students, when he had people, he used to tell them, go and study with Khabab ibn al-Aratt. That's how knowledgeable Khabab became. So he became like an expert in the Quran. And lastly, Khabab ends up becoming very wealthy at the end of his life. He went from being extremely poor to becoming very wealthy. And one of the reasons was that the kharaj means taxation. Right? When the Muslims conquered lands and those lands had choice. You either become Muslim or you get taxed. If they become Muslim, then we can't tax you. Tax means taking money, like in Robin Hood, right? Taxes. if some of the kids are watching and they remember what taxes are, if they don't know what taxes are, because I like to make sure that all the kids understand what's going on too. So taxes is when the ruler takes money from you, all right? And so a Muslim ruler, he can't just take money from a Muslim. There has to be a dire need in order for him to take money from a Muslim. But he can tax the people who choose not to be Muslim. Okay? So that's called kharaj. So they would take that tax. Now, where does that money go? Does it go to the ruler's house so he could live rich? No. He is not allowed to take anything of it, of this taxation money. Rather, what he does is he has to give it to the Muslims. So Sayyidina Umar, he would put the Muslims by order of who entered Islam first, and he would give them tax money. All right, this money as an allowance for them. Okay, Khabab was one of the first. He was one of the first 7 people to become Muslim, and so he was receiving kharaj money from very early on. So he became so rich, okay, so wealthy. He built himself a house in Kufa, okay, and he used to weep. And his wife would say, "Why do you weep? It's halal for you. It's halal money." Okay? And he used to say, "I only weep because I remember some of my companions who died before we ever got rich, before the Ummah of Islam ever got all this money." And he mentioned Hamza ibn Abd al-Muttalib, the uncle of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Mus'ab ibn Umair, all those companions who were with him in Mecca, who suffered with him in Mecca, but died before all the wealth started coming in. And he said, "I'm so rich, my money is in the earth." Literally, that he had to dig holes in his house to store his money. That's how much money he had. He said, "But Allah, I testify that never once did anyone ask me for any amount of money except I gave it to him." So he's basically saying that to balance this, I did build a house, I did have all this money, but to show that he is not a slave to money, and that he didn't prefer money over the deen, that anyone who ever asked him for any amount of money, I gave it to him. All right, without any hesitation. Any man who said, "Give me 5 gold coins," he'd give him 5 gold coins. Give me any money, he'd just give him a handful of money. He never hesitated. Sayyidina Uthman was the same way. Sayyidina Abdurrahman bin Auf was the same way. All the wealthy Sahaba, they never complained about giving or losing their wealth. Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas also became very wealthy. He built himself a beautiful house in Kufa. Sayyidina Umar said, "You're my governor. Governors don't get to enjoy this wealth." Okay? So Sayyidina Umar sent Muhammad ibn Maslama, okay, to burn down the house. Why? He said, "Because you're not like anyone else. You're a governor. You rule the Muslims. The ruler of the Muslims should not be living this extravagant lifestyle. If you don't rule, then enjoy your wealth as much as you want." So he sent Muhammad ibn Maslama. Sayyidina Umar said, "Go take half of Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas' wealth, bring it back to the treasury, Bayt al-Mal, and burn down this castle that he built for himself." So Muhammad ibn Maslama went and he did that, okay, without hesitation. What did Sa'd say? Nothing, not a word, not a single complaint. Okay, they were trained. All right. Another one was Abu Huraira. Abu Huraira was also very poor, and then after the time of Sayyidina Umar, he became very rich. Now Sayyidina Umar used him as a governor. Okay, he became a governor of a small island called Bahrain, very small island east of Arabia called Bahrain. And when he went there and he became very wealthy, he came back to visit Medina. When Sayyidina Umar likes to check up on his governors, and he used to have governors meetings, and he saw Abu Huraira dressed in very nice clothes. He said, "Abu Huraira, since when?" He said, "Alhamdulillah, it's all from halal trade." He said, "Who are you trading with?" He said, "The merchants of Bahrain." He said, "You're the governor of Bahrain." He said, "Yes, but it's all halal trade." He said, "How is it halal trade? You're the governor. Every businessman wants to have a good relation with the governor, right? So they're trading with you on purpose so that they could be good with you." He said, "None of this money is halal for you. Give it all back." So he had to give all his money back, okay? And then Sayyidina Umar some while later, 1 year later, he got a resignation letter. Resignation means he's quitting the job, from Abu Huraira. And he said, I don't want to be a governor anymore. Sayyidina Umar said, why? You're good. I want you there. You're trustworthy. You're knowledgeable. Okay? I need you to be a governor. He said, in all honesty, Amir al-Mu'mineen, I rather enjoy my wealth. I want to make money, right? I work for you. We can't make any money. So he relieved him of his position so that he could trade. Okay? But that was the point of, that's how the Sahaba dealt with their wealth. They were poor sometimes, rich sometimes, and they gave away whatever anyone asked from their wealth. And Khabab was one of those. And he died on his deathbed, weeping, and his wife saying to him, don't weep, for now you'll be returning to your companions, your friends. These Sahaba loved each other so much, right? And this is not the first Sahabi who died weeping of joy that he would be reunited with the Prophet ﷺ and the companions. Bilal ibn Rabah Bilal al-Habashi was also on his deathbed, and his wife was crying, all right? And she was saying, what a disaster, what a disaster. And he said to her, don't say what a disaster, rather say, what a celebration, because tomorrow we will meet our beloveds, Muhammad and his companions. All right, with that dive into the life of the companions and the world of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, let's now take a look at our live chat. All right, Maliki Click says, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. He's always the first one to comment. MashaAllah, he's got like a sunnah going on here. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. May Allah also give you afiyah. Ameen. A Zatar MD says, Taqabbal Allah. Likewise, Taqabbal Allah minnu minkum. Nadia Pranik says, Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Alaykum salam. All right, Tariq al-Masidi is here. MashaAllah. He's the engineer behind this book. I'm telling you, he's kicking off a competition. Right. Benjamin Sayer. He likes our background. Yes, the studio's from Manhattan. All right, Maliki Click also says that we're going to up our game. There's no way that this is ending right here. The game is going to be upped. Yes, we're going to redo the Maliki Fiqh book. We're going to add to it. We're going to make it a big book. We're going to make it a big and better book. Surfraz M. Assalamu alaikum. Can you please put the link for the book here? And there it is. shop.celebratemercy.com. It's all there. Ilyas Lahos just bought his copy. Good. Maliki Click, is it in English? Yes, English and Arabic. Okay. Sabat Yusuf, salam from Ariba and Abdullah. I hope you're all taking care of yourself. Abid Singapuri of Singapore. Yeah, now you know that I had a trip to Singapore and Malaysia this summer. I had a trip that was it was a summer, like a tour that they were arranged for me for Singapore and Malaysia. My first time ever going. I was really looking forward to it. All canceled. All right. Qaddar Allah ma sha'a fa'al, alhamdulillah. And there's always going to be another time. But Abid is from Singapore. And he says, Salam, I think I can't be a leader since I'm soft, and people tend to take advantage of people in charge of whom are soft, but scared to be. Well, look, you're only going to have to be a leader of your family. So you can still be soft, but for the hudud of Allah, what Allah Ta'ala obligates and prohibits, you need to make sure that it happens. All right. No one was softer than Abu Bakr as-Siddiq and Uthman bin Affan, but when it came to the limits of Allah, the Sharia basically, they made sure it happened, right? And their families still love them. So you can be soft, but make sure that hudud of Allah are observed. All right. Maliki Click has purchased the book. All right. So a lot of people purchasing this book tonight, and make it a time where, how many days left of Corona do we have? At least 14. At the least 14. No, more than that. It's April 2nd, so at least 28 days. You could probably read, if you read after every salah, one or two hadiths, like let's say Dhuhr, Asr, Maghrib, maybe Isha, because soon we're going to be praying Tarawih in our homes. For 3-4 times, let's say 3 times a day, and there's 400 hadiths, and you read 2 hadiths a day, just 2 per sitting. That's 6 hadiths a day. Let's say 5 hadiths a day, right? Times 30 days, right? Do the math. You'll finish the book before Corona's over, right? You'll finish the book before Corona's over. And it'll be a nice memory for your family too, right? Khalid al-Rifai, did Khabab teach in Kufa or only in Medina as well? He taught in different cities, Medina and Kufa. And I don't know about other cities. Nadia Pranik says, what is the name of the book? The name of the book is Ash-Shama'il al-Muhammadiyya, which means the description of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. 45 hadiths on the beauty and perfection of Sayyid al-Kawnayn, the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Translation and notes by Abdul Aziz Suraqa and Muhammad Aslam. And yeah, the bulk of the book here is, and you have footnotes too, right? Little footnotes that you could read as well. So each hadith is in Arabic and in English. Okay. Will the Taraweeh be live streamed? Taraweeh may be live streamed, but don't follow the Sheikh. Okay. You can't. There is no such thing as virtual Jama'ah. Now, one thing about this website, Project Maruf, is that Project Maruf has in it virtual Jum'ahs. I'm telling you, it's just going to cause confusion, these virtual Jum'ahs. Okay. It's a dars. That's it. Don't call it virtual Jum'ah. Call it virtual dars at Friday 1 p.m. Right? And it's just because it's a habit and people are doing it, but it's a virtual dars. It's not Jum'ah. There's no such thing as Jum'ah through the internet. Okay. Not being mean, I'm just saying, just clarifying what it is. Just so, because yesterday some people told me it wasn't clear what you were saying, so I'm just making it clear right now. It's good to have a dars at Friday 1 p.m. if that's a time that suits people, but it's not actual Jum'ah. Because I'm telling you, let's say you open the door right now to virtual Jum'ah and virtual Taraweeh. How do you close that door after Corona? I guarantee you it's going to be someone, hey, I have a meeting. Is there anyone hosting a virtual Jum'ah? I have a meeting. Let me just pray from my office. Let me just join in from my... I guarantee you that's where it's going to go after Corona. So the ulama, right, they disallowed things because they know once this door opens, it's not closing again. Right. Sayyid Hamza says, Assalamu alaikum. Could you please give me advice regarding boosting my confidence and morale for my studies? Jazakallah khairan. You just dispel negative thoughts with positive thoughts. That's it. Negative thoughts are from Iblis, and negative thoughts are weak iman. Any thought that I can't do something, well, you think Allah Ta'ala can't give you success? You're actually weak in your belief in Allah Ta'ala, because we don't have confidence in ourselves. We have confidence that Allah Ta'ala can grant us what we are looking for. The confidence of a mu'min is very different. All right? Confidence is not in ourselves. The confidence is in Allah Ta'ala. Okay? That He can do something for us, that He can give us what we're looking for. And practice, act, work, study, put in hours, because as well, confidence is not in yourself. Confidence is in an action, right? Confidence. I mean, if you shoot 1,000, free throw shots a day, like Larry Bird, okay, then you're not confident in yourself. You're confident in your practice and your hours of practice of shooting free throws. Likewise, whatever you're studying, it's not confidence in yourself. It's confidence in the hours of study of studying whatever subject it is. So have confidence in the qudra of Allah and put in hours and hours and hours of work. Okay. You want more confidence? Read stories of Umar bin Khattab. That'll give you confidence. Abid Ghafuri says, mashallah, didn't know you had a program scheduled to be here in Singapore. Yep. Inshallah, next time we'll do it. Samia Samra, MD. He's one of the top urology doctors in the country, believe it or not. Sami is somebody, he's many people know this, but in the community, many people don't know this. And he doesn't want me to say it, but I'll say it anyway. If you have any urology issues, go to him. Drive up to Rhode Island and get your urology fixed with Sami Samra. He says, Assalamu alaikum. Missing everyone in Central Jersey. Likewise, we miss you too. Unfortunately, he had to be traded out of Central Jersey up to New England. All right. Miserable New England, I should say. New England, it's a miserable, some people are going to say, don't say that, but it is. It's lonely. It's quiet. It has Boston and that's it. Right. But that's real quick. Right outside of Boston, the population density is so low. Right. The weather is so bad. Okay. The only good thing they have going is the lobster. All right. All right. Well, let's see if we'll take one more if there's any other comments or questions, and then we'll wrap up. I'm sure I'm going to get some flack for saying something bad about New England, but it's the truth. I hope he can come back to Jersey, inshallah. And Rizk said we could use a urologist in Bergen County. All right. Come back, Sammy. Sammy Samra. We need him back because mashallah, his kids are one of the best kids in reciting the 99 names and the ratib in our next gen. May Allah Ta'ala increase them, give them blessings. Mustafa Rahman. What is the title of the talk, Sheikh Hamza Yusuf, you mentioned earlier? It's called Be Great People. It's called Be Great People. It's old school Hamza Yusuf from 1998. All right, with that, let's go to our closing dua. And then we have a new nat from Qari Zahid. So stick around after the dua for a new nat from Qari Zahid. All right, let's go. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم أعوذ بكلمات الله التامات من شر ما خلق أعوذ بكلمات الله التامات من شر ما خلق أعوذ بكلمات الله التامات من شر ما خلق بسم الله الذي لا يضر مع اسمه شيء في الأرض ولا في السماء وهو السميع العليم بسم الله الذي لا يضر مع اسمه شيء في الأرض ولا في السماء وهو السميع العليم بسم الله الذي لا يضر مع اسمه شيء في الأرض ولا في السماء وهو السميع العليم تحصنت بذي العزة واعتصمت برب الملكوت وتوكلت على الحي الذي لا يموت اللهم اصرف عنا الوباء بلطفك يا لطيف إنك على كل شيء قدير تحصنت بذي العزة واعتصمت برب الملكوت وتوكلت على الحي الذي لا يموت اللهم اصرف عنا الوباء بلطفك يا لطيف إنك على كل شيء قدير تحصنت بذي العزة واعتصمت برب الملكوت وتوكلت على الحي الذي لا يموت اللهم اصرف عنا الوباء بلطفك يا لطيف إنك على كل شيء قدير وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين
اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد يا شفيع الورى سلام عليك يا نبي الهدى سلام عليك يا شفيع الورى سلام عليك يا نبي الهدى سلام عليك خاتم الأنبياء سلام عليك سيد الأصفياء سلام عليك اشفعي يا حبيبي يوم الجزاء أنت شافعنا سلام عليك ليلة تسرى بي قالت الأنبياء مرحبا مرحبا سلام عليك يا شفيع الورى سلام عليك يا نبي الهدى سلام عليك إنك مقصدي وملجئي إنك مدعى سلام عليك سيدي يا حبيبي مولاي كل النار فداء سلام عليك يا شفيع البراء سلام عليك يا نبي الهدى سلام عليك خاتم الأنبياء سلام عليك سيد الأصفياء سلام عليك واجب حبك على المخلوق يا حبيب العلا سلام عليك هذا قول غلامك عشقي منه يا مصطفى سلام عليك يا شفيع الورى سلام عليك يا نبي الهدى سلام عليك خاتم الأنبياء سلام عليك سيد الأصفياء سلام عليك صلى الله تعالى عليه وسلم.